Okay, continuing to talk about the klamath net, let's get a little longer string and cotilloweek the thumb and cotilloweek the little finger, and to do the little finger you have to crawl in from behind so that I have a double and a single extra transverse on the inside of both my thumb and little finger. Now I'm going to do the klamath net from the beginning. I reach, that's the first weave, I go and get the second weave, I drop, I hold down, I pull, push down once, push down twice, reach up and pull through, and you can see where that one at least of the, come in here, my hands are crooked because my left hand I hurt pretty badly playing football and basketball. There's one of those transverse strings. The other is the bottom, here's the string here, that's the other transverse. You can pick it up and you can make a three-dimensional figure, which the cotilloweek generally gives you extra transverses that you can use to change the way the figure is displayed, often in a three-dimensional way. You can also, if I tend to do the LDNA in all of my openings, and then if I do another LDNA, and I can conflate this center loop with two loops, and it has the crossing in the center, and I can also now do the klamath net again from the beginning, everything the same. I just treat it as if it were a simple three-loop opening. And now you see you're beginning to get interesting center complexities. At least I consider them interesting. My hands are not even. But if you practice as a young person, before you tear yourself apart, you can make these things more even and essentially understand the symmetry of what you are doing. There is another way of making that center complexity, and that is if I have the LDNA opening, reach on the far side of my index, lift it up, and then reinsert. I have doubled, and now I have these two extra straight across strings in the center, and now I can again do the klamath net. I could of course do any of the North American Indian nets, but since I am talking about the klamath net this morning, here is the klamath net, and there is my unevenness again. My little finger is really hurting this morning. Okay, but that's a way of doing more complex figures. And the last one that I would adduce or add at this particular time to this discussion is if I, well, of course, patiently take apart my information. There I go. Oops. This time I'm going to make that center double without the straight across strings, with the crossing strings, and I'm going to cotilloweek thumb and little finger, and you can see that that's a fairly complex position to start with, and then I will act like it was a simple three-loop situation and proceed to make the klamath net. And of course I have to have a long enough string that you can begin to see that that is a very complex, it's so thick that you cannot really pull that three-dimensional part up very well, but it's a very interesting figure. Lots of complexities, lots of interesting symmetries, which is what I tend to look for whenever I go and make these more complicated figures.